I know what you're thinking. What is marijuana? What makes marijuana so dangerous? Where can I get some marijuana?
Marijuana, cannabis, weed, pot, ganja, bud. However you've heard it, and whether you use it or not, its culture is growing. On January 1st, 2018, California's new marijuana laws began the legalization of recreational use for adults 21 and over. Under this law, cities can greenlight the licensing of dispensaries to sell medicinal and recreational products. Now that marijuana is more accepted and accessible, it's time to embrace it and learn what we can from our friends in the cannabis community.
I'm currently finishing my political science degree, and then I'm going to go to grad school for social work.
I'm Karen, and I'm currently a business management major, and I am a student researcher at a solar program, and after graduation I plan on creating a science program for kids.
I'm a 3D modeler, texture artist, and designer.
Hi, my name is Christian Kramey. I'm a UCLA researcher curing pain with cannabinoids.
I'm Bree Smith, host and creator of the Grass Class podcast, which I take all over the country in a refurbished Scamp camper. My goal is to help create a more conscious cannabis consumer and to help end the stigma for cannabis culture.
Growing up, and probably like with a lot of religious households, weed, cannabis wasn't really, it was frowned upon.
I met this girl and I met her friends, and they kind of were like the typical, like they hang out at the back of the bleachers in the pea fields with their like smoking weed and drinking. So I was like, oh my God, like I totally didn't belong there, but they was smoking. I was like, I thought that was like bad. So I never actually did it because I just didn't want to get in trouble.
As I grew older, like I just started realizing so many crazy things that were going on around me as a kid. Like my dad, he had a bong in our house. My parents were separated, so I thought he was into like candles and stuff like that. I don't know, whatever. So I thought it was like a special oil something. So I talked to my mom about it, and she asked me to like draw it out, and I drew it out. She's like, "Oh shit, it's a bong."
I grew up in Iowa, actually in a Mormon family, so it was like, what's the stereotype? Devil's lettuce, I think is like a good way of putting that. It's like, it was something very much, don't talk about it, don't use it.
I don't have a lot of friends that smoke, but the ones that I do smoke with that are like spiritual, that I like to think, or more like conscience aware. So like you will have like a creative session, we'll like smoke and just go off each other's creativity. Yeah.
When I have epilepsy, early on in the stages, the medications weren't working for me. So I had to go through maybe 3 medications to finally the one that worked for me best, basically. So that's when I switched over to cannabis, basically.
I had trouble sleeping and had a lot of insomnia. I was really stressed out. And I was really sad all the time. So I didn't really know how to like control my emotions. And like now that I meditate, it's cool. But before I didn't know. So like yeah. So like the first thing that would help me like right away was just to smoke.
Does your mom consume now?
Well, with her, she's had multiple sclerosis for 28 years or something like that. So the drug she takes, it helps with it, but she's just on her ass for the whole next day. And she stopped that through eating, through changing her lifestyle, which was cool. And then introduced that into it too, the CBD oil, and it's pretty interesting. She doesn't take it a lot because she doesn't want to rely on it, which makes sense. But when she does it, she's chilling. She likes it.
I work in the UCLA opioids lab, and the one thing the UCLA opioids lab is looking for is something that's not an opioid. At this point, the pharmaceutical industries have brought us to a near point of no return, that there are so many medications out there and there are more pills prescribed than there are people to take them. And so when it comes to that, I mean, cannabis is kind of this one glove fits all scenario where instead of just tackling and having a pill for each different condition, you can have a one fit all that may not perfectly balance or counteract everything, but it does it in a point that it brings it down to a level that you can actually live with.
Now that it's legalized, more people are using it that have never used it their whole life. And more people are realizing the medical benefits to it.
I see the pharmaceutical aspect of cannabis in synthetics. I think it's very unlikely that you're going to see pharmaceutical industries take over the plant industry. That's very counterintuitive to how pharmaceutical industries go about making a medication. So I think when it comes to synthetics, that you're going to see it in a very controlled DEA approach, where it will be sold under very strict guard, like OxyContin or morphine are sold, and that a vending machine would most likely be how you're going to see something like that sold and distributed in a pharmacy setting. And I definitely think it's going to be synthetics that are the ones that are mainly prescribed for cancer and for chronic pain and inflammation and things like that, and that you'll see cannabis more take a health and wellness approach.
With anything, there's always going to be the extremes of like, oh, the typical lazy one that just kind of doesn't do anything, blah, blah. And there's going to be the opposites of the super successful people. So I think that's tough to kind of get a solid understanding, because people are always going to have the differing views, and they'll always exist at the same time. It's just with anything too, like there are people that drink on the weekends only, or there are people that have like 3 cocktails in a night because they work, 10 hours or whatever, but that'll be tough. I think that'll be tough to kind of solidify on like all positive. Even though, who knows? We'll see.
After speaking with my guests, I decided to visit a local dispensary to learn about what first-time buyers should expect. I visited Exhalants and met Courtney, a bud tender who is dedicated to helping buyers find their perfect match. Where did you guys start?
Our leaders, they take so much pride into the whole business and just making sure we're up to par with regulations. We always have all our licensings. They're part of all of the town meetings and city meetings, the state meetings, to make sure that we are totally compliant.
So as a newcomer into this dispensary, what would I expect when I approach a bud tender?
Well, most importantly, you're going to get a smile. You're going to get a greeting when you walk in. We always love to make it very comfortable for people. A lot of times we'll get patients that they come in from other states. They come in from places where you could go to jail for even just having a joint on you. So they'll walk in, they see all of this, and they're just like, wow, this is overwhelming, it's so much. So we try to make it comfortable, like, it's a lot, but we're cool. If you have questions, we try to be just very helpful, very knowledgeable, and give everybody the information they need, but try not to overwhelm them. So with all the new regulations now, flour, when you come in and you get your product, it's going to be pre-packaged. These are the new containers it will be in. It has a magnifying glass, you can smell through it.
I love being able to see all of the small details, all the hairs,
the crystals,
yes, terpenes.
Our more expensive are top of the line. These are going to be very strong. Maybe take a couple hits, you're going to really feel good.
Okay.
We also have, for maybe beginners or people with a little bit of a lower tolerance, we have other strains. They're not going to hit as strong.
Okay.
But if you don't have a very high tolerance, you're not going to want something that's going to make you just zonk out. So I really like Mega. We just got it recently. It's nice, stony, but still pretty focused.
That's
very
amazing.
Relaxing body high.
Okay.
Do you like purples at all? We have some Sapphire Kush. Got that nice cushy body high. Awesome.
So I love the Sapphire.
Awesome.
I'll
So
grab a full gram of that.
yeah, we can definitely do that.
I was interested in seeing the cultivation site in Exhalants. Nellie showed me the main cultivation room, one of many secured, temperature-controlled areas in the building. Each room homes plants in different stages of their growth life, and Exhalants takes the extra step to ensure that their plants are trimmed, tested, and packaged in different rooms.
Awesome. Man, this makes me really, really excited to roll up a blunt for afterwards.
Yeah.
Discussing the different aspects of the cannabis culture and learning about all the new options from Courtney really enforced my appreciation for the new efforts in the cannabis industry. The topic is no longer black and white. From the multitude of ways to use and the benefits from consumption to the shift in the dispensary business, I can tell that a new leaf has been turned. I have learned a lot, but that doesn't mean it ends here. Join me as I continue my mission to end the stigma around cannabis on the Grass Class.
Until next time, toke on, my friends.